I'm not making an effort in this video in terms of being like, hey guys, this is me from YouTube. You know, I'm not trying to, I'm just being natural here and just letting this video just flow. What I'm going to talk to you about this evening is the difference between procrastination and not feeling it with regards to your music. Now, for me, I've felt this a million times over and over again. It's something I've battled with for the last 25, 30 years or whatever. And it's perfectly normal. It's perfectly, understandable when it happens. But to know the difference between when you're procrastinating or when you're just not feeling the vibe of whatever music you make. For me, it's just come to a bit of a head recently. I've not released a single yet this year, although I've just released some ambient music, which is coming out tomorrow, funnily enough. And as I speak today, the 23rd of the 2nd, 2023, 2302-20323, weird. I've finally pulled my finger out and got my juices flowing again, because I just wasn't feeling it. Although I thought I was procrastinating because I've got so many tracks unfinished. Well, I say so many. I've got 4 or 5 that I really want to finish off and get out this year, that have been sat there for months on end. But the difference between procrastinating and not feeling it is something I've been thinking about in terms of music, and I'm sure it's exactly the same when it comes to writing or painting or whatever whatever creative endeavor you undertake. You're gonna get moments like this, and I've had this countless times before, but I've really felt it this time, noticing the difference and how miserable it makes me when I'm not creating. And with the difference between me creating as an artist for my Rob John Webb stuff or whatever, and me teaching and mentoring and doing tutorials and videos and stuff, there's a huge difference. With the mentoring, the tutorials, what I can just turn it on instantly, because generally the track is finished by somebody else, and I'm just there to help out and jump on board and finish it off for them and stuff. So that is easy for me. That's always, it's like, that's just harnessing my skills and using all my utilities and for my clients. That's a very different thing altogether. But when it comes to your own music, it's very difficult for me sometimes. I've always lacked inconsistency anyway through life, always in every area. But still, when it comes to my creative stuff, am I procrastinating or am I, not feeling it? And I can't tell you the amount of times I've not felt it. Where with music, for me, it's a good thing, it's a bad thing. It's like a love-hate relationship. It's a gift, it's a curse, it's a passion, it's a pain. It's all of those things, 90% of the time, I would say, probably 80% of the time, I would probably really say, it's a beautiful thing, it's a wonderful thing. Whereas the other 20%, it can end up draining you big time. And if you don't kind of nip it in the bud or change something, it can end up you just evacuating completely. And basically, last week I just spent pretty much every night lying on the settee, just watching telly, scrolling on my phone, and doing very little. Looking for an excuse to find something else to do. I even contemplated downloading a video game. Do you know what I mean? It was like, and that's just not me at all. And I was putting off stuff, and what happened was, if you can see now, my whole studio's been revamped, and I've changed everything around, and I've moved everything around, and I've got rid of stuff. Now, when normally in this space, I've got a digital piano, big stage piano here, and I've got 4 Korg Volkers, 3 Korg Volkers, an acid machine, effects boxes, a little mini mixing desk to go with it, a chord machine, one of them rolling chord machine things. And all this stuff was staring me in the face every day, and it wasn't getting used. It was all rigged up, but it wasn't getting used, and I just couldn't even. It was having too much stuff in front of me. And then on the other side would be my decks and a pile of records, and that's always ever growing. And then over here would be, I've got my Ableton Push, and I've got another MIDI controller here for a live performance thing that I run from. I use a tablet to power up now with that. And I've got all these things around me. And then I've got my studio here, which is my, my keyboard here and my door. And it was just like, I would be in there and I'd look at something, I'd turn around, I'd see the Korg synths, or I'd see something that I normally use or used to use. And it'd be like, oh, what a waste of space that is. So the whole room was cluttered and it was just too much. So I basically, the other day, I repainted the wall, fresh art on the walls up there, just freshened the room up. And already within one day, I've got my groove again and I'm back on it. And I've made I've started a new track and I've mastered and mixed another one. And I've tweaked about with a couple of other bits and bobs over the last day. Just gone through my stuff again. And I'm feeling it again. And that's because I've freshened up things around here. I've stripped it back. And that's what I'm trying to get across to you guys. You know, when you're having days like where you just can't find your groove, it's okay. It's normal. And are you procrastinating? You know, when you procrastinate, it's like, for me, when I procrastinate, it's only if I've got a commitment to someone or to a label or to a remix or something, or, you know, I'll leave it till the very last day until I've got to do it. But if it's my own stuff, I'll leave it indefinitely until I actually feel the groove. And, you know, I will never sit down and put out and produce a track from scratch and bang it out. I could do if I had the discipline and the consistency, then I would. I'd mix and master and release a track every month, probably one every fortnight. But, you know, I don't want to do that. I just like to make it when I'm feeling it. And that's very important, I think, with creativity. Don't be a machine and bang out some, you know, mindless twaddle that just, you know, make sure you're feeling your tracks. I mean, I've looked back at tracks I've released and thought, oh, it wasn't a great idea, was it? Because I've rushed things out, you know what I mean? I've got things out because I felt like I had to keep something going. And I've learned from that that's not the way. But anyway, so as I say, I've not released anything this year yet on the dance scene. But I've released some ambient stuff, which comes out tomorrow. That's not a plug, by the way. Anyway, so creativity and, you know, and procrastination. Why do we do it? What is it that makes us do it? Is it the fact that you're afraid of getting something wrong? You know, imposter syndrome, all that kind of thing. Is it a fact of you're trying to, you know, you're trying too hard, so therefore you think, oh, I don't want to do it because it's effort and it's like I'm going to have to really put some sweat into this. You know, is that the case? Whereas not feeling it is a totally different thing, and I don't feel it more than I do procrastinate. Now, what I mean by that is that I will go onto the Beatport, maybe sometimes Beatport, but I'll go onto the Traxsource Top 10, and I will listen to those, and I'll go, oh my god, not again, not another Loletta Holloway sample, not another this sample, not another Chic loop. You know, it's like, come on, and I get really downhearted about it, and that reaffirms my lack of love for it at that time. And I go, I'm just done with it. I'm done. And then it will take me a week or so. I'll hear something will be played, come up on Spotify or something, and I go, yes, that's nice. I like that. How do they do that? And then I'll start making again. And that's just the way it is, and that's the way it's always been. So when you're feeling like you're just not into it at the minute, don't give up. That's the important thing. Just don't give up. Make sure that you just put the thing on bricks for now and just let it sit until you're ready to start again. And your groove will come back. You know, if music is within you, it will come back. You know, whether you're a hobbyist or you're professional or you want to be professional or whatever. You know, just do it for the love of it. You know, it will always come back. So you know, I don't know how many times it's happened to me. It's happened to me a lot of times. I mean, I'm just sat here now, just doing this video. I'm not making an effort in this video in terms of being like, hey guys, this is me from YouTube. You know, I'm just being natural here and just letting this video just flow. And just talking about, you know, the things that are vital as a music producer. It doesn't matter what you produce, if it's hip hop, if it's R&B, whatever, dance house, techno. We all get writer's block or procrastinate, or we put it off, or we just don't feel it that day. I can sometimes boot the door up and literally load up a kick drum and get something going, find some chords on a piano, and then I just go, just turn it off. Can't be bothered. I don't know how many times I've done that. I mean, God, millions. And then tonight, for example, I've just banged it up today. I mean, today I've made 3 videos for my YouTube members courses. I've made a samples pack for that as well. And I've obviously edited those videos, put the artwork, done all that kind of stuff, which is work. And then all of a sudden, you wouldn't think I'd have any more energy left. So what I did was I turned everything off at about 5 o'clock, went and relaxed on the settee, watched some telly, and came back at it after my tea at about 8 o'clock. So I gave it a few hours off, and I gave myself that time off, and I came back and I launched into it, and I just made this track, and it's just brilliant. I won't say brilliant, but it's what I want to do right now. It's funky deep house sort of stuff, and it's what I'm really into at the moment. And I found my flow again. I found my juice again. I found creativity again. Whereas for the last 6, 7, 8 weeks, I've really struggled with it. And it's okay. It's okay. You know, I'm feeling good about it again. You know, I've really battled with it in my head. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not feeling it. Maybe I should just teach only and just. But then I think if I just teach only, I'm going to lose some of my skills and whatever. Not lose my skills, but lose the. You've got to have the passion inside of you to teach. You've got to have that knowledge and that feeling. I don't want to lose that by giving up producing as much personally. So I've gone through all these motions, and it's all nonsense. It's all nonsense, and I know that it's in me. There's nothing I can do about it. I was born into music. There's nothing I can do about it. So don't punish yourself is basically my motto. Is my message today. Just let things flow, and when it comes back, it comes back. If it doesn't, sit on it again for another week. Don't wait for it to come back. Don't go, well, I've got to, I've not made a track for 6 weeks. Just it will come when it comes, and you'll just find that everything just flows when it flows. Doesn't matter whether you're whether I'm sure people like Louis Vega and whatnot have days where they just ain't feeling it, but you just keep going, don't you? And I've got back into my DJing a lot just lately. Picking up the decks, sorted all that out, bought a new mixer, tidied it up, got some bits on the wall to give me a bit of a boost, and it's worked, when I've freshened up the area, as I say. So yeah, enough yapping. Basically, procrastinate is when you deliberately putting it off, or you're just not feeling it. Just remember to ask yourself that, and if you are putting it off, why are you putting it off, right? And is it really that difficult, then think about why it's difficult or why you think it's difficult. So that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you've got to the end of this video, by the way. 12 minutes of me yapping on. So yeah, I hope that's just giving you some insight and some sort of a lift as such. And get in touch, leave a comment in the box. What do you do? Do you procrastinate, or do you just not feel it sometimes? Either way, it's okay. Thank you guys, and I'll see you soon in the next video.